All right, welcome. It is Bleav in Chargers. We are in the season. Week 1 is in the books. Week 2 is upon us, and the Chargers are tied atop the AFC West with the Kansas City Chiefs at 1-0, the Raiders and the Broncos behind, each of them at 0-1. Joined, as always, by the incomparable Lorenzo Neal, Charger legend. He walks the field. People freak out. Women cry. Men swoon. And time stops when they see Lowe
Wow.
on the sidelines. And no doubt, the All-Pro, the All-Decade, one of the great bolts in franchise history, Lowe, you had to be darn excited. Quickly, thank you, everybody, for downloading, listening, subscribing, rating, reviewing, whatever you can do to help us grow this thing. It is growing exponentially, and with the type of season we think this team is poised to have, we expect it to grow even more. So any little bit you are able to provide, if you don't mind, man, that helps us a lot. So thank you, everybody, for the support so far. I don't think I got into the comments to reply, but I promise we will get into the comments and respond to you on the YouTube for sure, if that's how you're consuming it. But Lo, you had to be darn excited with what you saw on Sunday and the way they won this game.
I was so excited. I come on the show, Money. You had me trying to come on pregame to talk to you about Chargers and Raiders, and I was yelling so much that you guys couldn't hear me. So it was crazy. Appreciate it though. I really appreciate it. We didn't get our interview like I wanted to, but I tell you, it was what I expected. It didn't let down. It didn't let me down. Expectations were met. You saw a heavyweight fight. You saw friggin' this Ali Frazier, the thrill of it, because you saw guys, neither team wanted to back down. Neither team played bad. They were both physical. This was a great matchup, and it was just watching the Chargers stay the course was absolutely unbelievable. I loved it.
Yeah, you said what my biggest takeaway was, and as someone who's now in his 8th year of calling Charger games, stay the course. And when you have someone as talented as Justin Herbert and you rush for 12 yards on 8 carries in the first half, you come out of halftime and you're like, all right, Herb, go save us. Start slinging it all over the place, and let's see if we can figure this out. But they didn't. And that's when you hear the term complementary football. It's not when it's going great. It's also when maybe it's not going as great. Making sure you play complementary football. We're going to punt. Our defense is absolutely dominating their offense. So why throw it all over? Receivers were struggling to get separation out there a little bit. They were on their toes on every single snap. And I think, Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh looked at it and said, we'll wear them down. We will wear them down. They keep coming and we keep blocking them. And Herbert's only taken 1 sack. So let's just keep punting, keep running Joey and Khalil out there and absolutely dominating the line of scrimmage on defense. And eventually we'll get the turnovers. We'll get field position. Like, that's the thing. They created turnovers, 1 on downs. The fumble, both, did they produce, touchdowns? No, but they produced field goals. We're getting points off turnovers. It goes to what Coach Callahan said in Tennessee. We should have just punted on 1st and 10 every time and we would have won the game against the Bears. And it's like, that's kind of sticking to the plan and seeing what's working. And that's what Coach did. And eventually they wore him down. JK busts off the huge runs and they get 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. And it was, like you said, they stayed the course, body blow. When you see fights, you see fighters, and you especially see great ones. You Cesar Chavez, of Roberto Duran's, of Ray Leonard, to Mike Tyson. What did they do? They worked the body.
Right.
And like you said, they just kept hitting the body. And you said, when is this going to take place? And you saw the Raiders. Let's both sides. Both teams worked the body. Like you said, Herbert didn't have to go into the tent and go into the phone booth and put on a Superman cape because they stayed the course. You saw the Raiders say, you know what? I'm going for it on 4th down. They went forward on 4th down. And what happened? You got stopped. See, when you got to realize, when you walk down, you're a kid growing up, mom says, put your hand on the fire, you burn yourself. Guess what? You don't do it again. 4th down on the end of the game with 4 minutes left. The Raiders are both playing good defense. So is the Chargers. And what happened? Because you've had previous experience, Money, because you had previous success, the Chargers on that 4th down and stopped them. Guess what? They said, let's punt the ball. Let's play field position because neither offense has been able to just explode. Let's play field position. And now we get them inside the 20. Now we change field position And that's what the Raiders was hoping on. But that's when the Chargers said, let's put our foot on the table. Let's go back to the body and hit them, and let's end it. And JK took the play, took it almost to the house. That's how you end a game. That's how, what I like to say, this is how you do it. Get in for a minute and say, we're going downhill and we're going to make you apologize. I love it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was really surprised that Herbert said it after the game because, we didn't say first of all, you and DJ are in step because that's exactly what he said during the game. He said, these are body blows. He goes, this is a body blow game. And he said, and then when he broke off the 67 or the 61 yarder, he's like, there's the haymaker, body blow. Here's the uppercut and we're going to knock you out. And, I had just said, of course, what do? I'm in the water all the time. I said, tread in water. Hey man, let's get in the deep end. Let's tread water. Let's see who can keep their head up long enough. And as soon as I see your nose go under, guess what? I'm grabbing your collar, I'm pulling you under, and that's over. But I don't know if Herbert said it. He said, Stick and I were sitting on the bench, and we said, man, in the past, you know how this goes. We're up 6, 3 and out, punt, lose a game by a point. And I was, and I love that he said it because that's the communication that tells you, I believe in that, pardon the pun, on Bleav in Chargers, but it tells you, Herbert said, I believe in this guy. And I knew what we were doing. And they had a 3rd and 2 on that first series of that drive. I think it was 1st and 10. It became 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7 or something like that. And then it became 3rd and 2. And what they do, they ran, and JK kept his legs churning, picked up the first down. It's like, here we go. There's our first. And then all of a sudden, it's like this light, like, okay, I believe. And next thing you know, 92 minutes or 92 yards in 4 minutes. And what they do on 3rd and 6. And so this is like something I think we talked about when it comes to Herbert and how we thought maybe he'd be used low. And then I'll make this quick so you can jump in. But when you look at J.J. McCarthy, go through J.J. McCarthy's, the people listening, go through his game logs against Michigan, and you're going to see in wins, 135 yards passing, 141 yards passing, 165 yards passing. And then all of a sudden, when you go into the play-by-play, you're going to see that final drive. Oh, look at this. He threw it 6 times. He was 5 of 6 on this drive. And that's what that 3rd and 6 was. Hey, Herb, go win the game. Go close it out for us. And there's that pass to McConkey. And that's how Harbaugh operates. It's like, I have a superstar. I'm going to ask him to do it when I need him to do it, but I don't need to ask him to do it on every snap in every series.
And that's what's going to carry over for this team. You found a way to win without your superstar. Now, let me tell you, you're going to have some games where he's going to have to go into the phone booth and turn into Clark Kent. And we know that. But this was a game that they said, look, let's just stay the course. And you saw it. You saw it on the other side. You had a quarterback that was still having success. Minshew played pretty decent. You got to realize he was saying, okay, first half, he threw the ball a little more, had more yards throwing the ball when you look at it early. And then what happened? You asked him to do a little too much because the defense was at his footsteps, and he started hearing he panicked, throw that backwards pass.
Right.
That was if you think about that, money. That was so crucial. You're up by 7, getting ready to go up by 2 scores, or getting ready to go up possibly 2 scores, go down 14-3. Now you're a different situation. Now Herbert has to go into the booth because it changes the dynamic dimensions of the game. Yeah. But instead of them getting 3, you turn the ball over and you're going the other way. I mean, turnovers, they're at a premium. When you saw this game, both teams were physical. Both teams were just hitting each other in the body. But at the crucial point, which team blinked? The Raiders, their quarterback, running game. You had a fumble by the running back. You had a fumble by the backwards pass by the quarterback. In key moments, the Chargers didn't have those self-inflicted wounds where, bam, and you turn the ball over, no one hitting, throw a backwards pass. It changed the game. It went from being a 10-point game to friggin' a 1-point game because of a turnover. That's how you play hardball football. Right. It's bend, but don't break.
Yeah, we talked to him before the game, and what did he say? Look, on offense, you want to score a touchdown, number 1. 2, you want to kick field goal. Number 3, you want to punt for field position. then you're fine. As long as we don't have number 4, which is a turnover. Just can't turn the ball over. Can't give them opportunities. And the Chargers got 4 extra opportunities. Turnover on downs first. The punch out Joey Bosa had
That was
just
amazing.
that's an announcement to the league. That's a message to the league. Like, hey, I saw your rankings. I know that I'm outside of like everyone's top 10 edge player right now. But you forgot. I've been hurt, groin, foot. And look, who knows where he had a dominant start to the season the last couple of years, and it gets sideways. And it's great to hear him say, like, hey, I know how this game goes, but I'm doing everything I possibly can. And Coach Harbaugh mentioned it. He's out there an hour before the game, one of the first guys on the field, going through his routine, stretching, making his body right, getting himself right to get ready. And I mean, he and Khalil Mack, they basically picked up where they left off last year when they were
Amazing.
both healthy. And that's where that fumble comes in from Joey. And that thing was ridiculous. That's the thing about Bosa is it's not just the sacks. And he had the pressure and he had the sack, but it's the trip up of Gardner Minshew on that third down. He couldn't pick up the first down at midfield. It's coming from behind when Zamir White finally breaks through. The run defense was exceptional on Sunday. Zamir finally gets a lane. He's got 5-6 yards. And he's probably excited because he didn't have anything else going. And boom, there's the peanut punch from Bosa that creates the turnover. And like when you have elite players and elite players perform, that it's it's the rising tide lifts all boats. And now you got Perriman and Henley, and now you got Puna Ford, and like all these guys that are in the middle of these stars, their performance is now lifted. And man, tip of the cap low to Jesse Minter and controlled chaos, because he had the Raiders offense on their heels that whole game.
He really did. And you saw the 4th and 1 with the big fella in the middle, 95 before. You see Puna. He swims. Puna goes over the top because he beats the guard over the top. So he's able to split that A gap. Now the running back tries to bounce it into daylight. Boom. That's a big time play. That's a player making a play on 4th down, change field position. That is freaking amazing. What they did up front, controlling the line of scrimmage, it was just awesome to watch defensively. You saw Mac. How many times was he in the quarterback's line? He was putting the tackle. That old fella was putting the tackle on the quarterback. Minshew was playing with the tackle during there in his lap. They did a great job of creating a new line of scrimmage and getting after Minshew and making him uncomfortable and not giving him the time to throw the ball. Yeah, they got beat sometime, but they stopped the big plays, limited them, and that's what this thing came down to, not making mistakes.
Yeah, Khalil, 5 pressures, 3 hurries, 2 sacks, had to split it with Morgan on that one. Bosa, 3 pressures, 1 hurry, 1 quarterback hit, 1 sack, forced fumble, and then you go through Morgan Fox pressure, Bud Dupree 2 pressures, Puna Ford 2 pressures, Thule 2 pressures, Tito 2 pressures, Scott Matlock 2 pressures, who played in all 3 phases, and a pressure apiece for Tier, Junior Colson, and Ja Taylor. Like they were in the backfield, the whole winning football. Exactly right. When Devontae Adams averages 110 yards per game and 4 touchdowns over 4 games, and you hold him to 5 for 56, done your job. Brock Bowers, you saw why he's going to be a special player. He's something now. And they were able to, and they were able to keep him under control. And that's that's a reason why I think you saw Derwin on the line of scrimmage as much as you did, because Gardner Minshew, if he's in a clean pocket, he's a good player. He's a good player. He can see it. He works his progressions. He throws a nice ball. Once he gets pressured, flip that script. It's a free-for-all. It's a lateral that you lose. It's tip passes for interceptions. It gets messy. And so I think that's why you saw the amount of pressures that you did from Coach Minter. And I won't be surprised, and we'll do the preview a little bit later this week. We'll get to that on Friday for the Carolina matchup. But I think you're going to see a lot of that, because the Saints pressured the heck out of Bryce Young into a ton of mistakes. But it'll be interesting to see what the game plan calls for with Derwin in this particular game. It was a lot of line of scrimmage, 6 guys up there, like we said, controlled chaos. They didn't blitz a lot. It was just, you didn't know where it was coming from. And when you have Bosa and Khalil Mack able to dominate the way they were, you didn't have to blitz a whole lot. A reminder, go ahead, Lope.
No. Oh, go ahead.
Well, Bet Online. World's most trusted betting platform. Number one source for everything football, every matchup, live odds, spreads to bet on during the games. Yes, in games, you can do it. If you think you know your stuff, get in on the 200 grand mega contest. Pick 5 games against the spread every week. It is your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. And remember, when it's over, head over to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack poker. They got over 150 slot games. The website's got it all. The mega contest, the casino, get in on the action. It is Bet Online. The game starts there. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just coming back to you. You're talking about just with Minshew, the mistakes, the pressure got on him, tip balls, throwing the ball lateral because he blinked. And that's one thing about Herbert. Herbert had footsteps. Herbert had to step up in the pocket. They were hitting Herbert too. Herbert got hit. These were 2 dominant defensive fronts, but Herbert took care of the ball. He knew the concept. You just see this guy growing up in front of your eyes. He's like, I'm not forcing the ball. I'm going to throw it over out of the end zone on top, which only my guy can have the chance to throw it. I'm going to overthrow balls. I'm not going to put our team in harm's way because our defense is good enough. When you can do that as a quarterback and limit those plays and not try to go out there and force things, that's what you want to see from your quarterback. That's what you want to see from your elite quarterback. Hey, let's go out. Let's take what the defense gives me. And the guy that you've been talking about a lot as I digress and switch into the offense is Q. When you saw Johnson, his ability, you've seen this guy that everyone wanted to run him out of the league. Here's a guy that you said, hey, Lo, this guy can, gets his hand together. This guy can be a force. And yeah, he missed one, but, tried to body catch it. But when you saw this guy the other day, the way that he played, the plays that he made, catch the ball, ran physical, I was happy to see that too.
Yeah, and it's a staff that's just said, Q, do what you're good at. We're going to get you on these, quick slants, these crossers, and we're going to get the ball in your hands, and now you can make plays after the catch. And that's what he did at TCU. And you mentioned the drop. Where did the one drop come? Downfield. That's not his game. So just play to his strengths. And I'll tell you, the one, I'm going to pull it up because I got the game film right here in front of me. I want to make sure I got it right. The one crosser, man, that ball was coming in hot. It was coming in hot, and he caught it on the move, and it was thrown behind him a little bit. It was the first, I think it was the 1st and 15. Sorry, I'm doing this on the air. It wasn't that one. No, it wasn't that one. It was the, I know what it was. It was the 3rd and 18. And
he didn't get the first, but he picked up a lot of yards. He caught it, he ran physical, got hit. 2 or 3 guys had to take him down.
Right.
I love that play
because
it set him up in field goal range. Put him in field goal range.
Right. And it was a cerebral play by Q because he didn't keep going east-west. As soon as he got it, he started going upfield because he's like, I'm going to get, Cameron Dicker as many yards as I can. I'm not going to get the first down, but let's just get north and south. And instead of a 58-yarder, it's a 53-yarder. And Cameron Dicker banged it home like it was nothing. That, reminded everybody, hey, you're going to get 3. Just get me on the plus side of the field, and I'm going to get you 3. It was a 2nd and 8 that Q hit that crosser. It was thrown behind him and high, and he snatched that thing and picked up the first down on that 2nd and 8 in the 3rd quarter, and that's what you got to do. Play to strengths. And I'll tell you that the receivers struggled, especially at the start of the game. There were some separation issues. It was tough for Herbert. That defense was on their toes. They were not worried about the run. You had 8 guys in the box, and they were all leaning forward. And, that's when you want to see receivers try to create some separation because you got one-on-ones, and it just wasn't happening yet. And I think that's perhaps a reflection of Justin being out of practice for 3 weeks, chemistry not quite being there, because in the second half, you started to see it. It's like, oh, okay, here's Hayden Hurst. He's breaking free. Here's your sideline. Here's Josh. And I think you can look at, Josh in particular, who could have really used those reps, because those passes that Herbert made, like the pass in the end zone that looked like it was behind Josh, that he still should have caught, but it's like, that's Herbert protecting you, Josh. You got a safety coming at you, and he wants you to gear down. And that's what Keenan would do. He knew he would gear down a little bit. He'd find the soft spot. He knew exactly where Justin was going to put. And that's going to come. That's going to come this week because they're going to go over those reps and say, hey, here's what I was thinking. You're bracketed, and I got a safety coming at you. I don't want to kill you. So I'm going to get you to gear down back of the end zone. And so those things are going to come. And I think you saw that big 3rd down catch from Josh on that last drive that scored the touchdown to put him up 2 scores. So those are things they were working through in the midst of the game. And I'll just add this, Lodo, to what you said. This is how he was asked to play by Mario Cristobal at Oregon. And it's why he wasn't the number one pick and why Tua was taken over him, because they had a really good defense, they had a really good running game, and they played complementary football. And basically, Justin was told, hey, just keep the ball, protect the ball, and we're going to win games. And they did. And they won the Rose Bowl. And a lot of people are like, Justin's one read. He's running the ball. Look at the Rose Bowl. It's a lot of running. That's not going to work in the NFL. And it's like, Justin will do what you ask him to do, and he will do it at an elite level, however you want him to do it. If it's Shane Steichen his rookie season and he's throwing it 45 times a game and he piles up 4,800 yards as a rookie, he's going to do that. If it's Jim Harbaugh, hey, man, Khalil and Joey are dominating. Let's play it this way. No problem. I'll let you know when I need you. Hey, 92 yards. I need you. Get me something. You got it. Let's go. And so it's very encouraging.
Efficient. He's very efficient in this type of offense. We talked about this before the season started. Said, what is going to be the biggest difference? You said because of the play action, because the efficiency of running the ball, that guess what? His efficiency level is going to go up because he's not going to have to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game, because you're going to be in ball games that it's not, well, hey, I got to do that. And then it's 3 and out. Teams can understand what you're doing, pin their ears back, more pressure. When you play this complementary football, like you alluded to, Money, this is how this team is going to win and win a lot of games. It's going to be about health. What I seen on Sunday, it's simple now. It's health, because you're good enough at the quarterback position that you can go win games, but you're good enough in defense and you're good enough running the ball that you can still stay in games. So this team now, if they stay healthy with the way they're able to play in all phases, turnover, kicking game, all those things, you're going to be in football games. And that's what you want, because that's what you have, because you have a guy that can finish if you're in the game. You have a Herbert that can finish. And you saw it. Minshew is a average quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he can't finish the game week in and week out because he is not that of a lead of a quarterback. We have a guy that if you're in games and you stay this way, where it's not every single game you're asking this guy to go out and throw for 400 yards, you're going to win way more games. I love to be in this position than the other. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, let's wrap with this, Lo. I'll let you start. Good, bad, surprise, just kind of wrap on the game as we put a bow on it.
Yeah, being physical, they meet that requirement. Limit the big plays, they met that requirement. I have, SIW, self-inflicted wounds. Thought Disley jumped off sides. 81 was kind of penalties kind of hurt him early. That you can get cleaned up. Third downs, got to be a little better on defense on third downs. Kind of gave up some third downs, some third and longs. I'd like to see them get that, corrected. Turnovers, won the turnover battles. Running for 100 yards or more, I thought they did that. Did that well, and limited the team for under 3.3 or less. You're usually going to win ball games. So I gave them an A. That's my grade for the Chargers this week.
Yeah, I'll go super specific. I think you hit it all there, Lo. The good wasn't good. It was exceptional. Could not have gone better. Joe Alt was the fact that he is not up for Rookie of the Week, and 2 players on the Rookie of the Week list were on losing teams is an embarrassment for the league. And it's a reminder that you win in the trenches and not just at the skill positions. Marvin Harrison Jr., 1 catch, 4 yards. Joe Alt stoned Max Crosby. 19 pass rush, 0 pressures. He was exceptional. I mean, our friend Brian Baldinger did a great breakdown of him. He went through all the, former offensive linemen. I used to call games with Baldy. He's as good as it gets when it comes to film study. And he did a great job of pointing out, this is what we're talking about with length. This guy has got 99.9 percentile length in the NFL. And guys that big tend to be stiff and they're hard to move. And you see Max sort of get that angle on the edge, and there's that length just shoving him on an arc behind Justin. You're not going to get to him. Stoned him a couple times. That wasn't just the good. It was great to see that. The tackles, Rashawn Slater stoned him. The tackles were exceptional. Work to be done, interior. Zion was fantastic in the run game, a little shaky in the pass game. Same with Bozeman. The run blocking was great. even though they had 8 carries for 12 yards, they just kept at it. I thought Pitkins had a really good game for his first game at guard. So I think that's just, what coach said, that the improvement you make from week 1 to week 2 is the biggest improvement you're going to make all season. So now they have film. They know what they got to work on. They're going to work on it. But Zion, he was a huge reason why they broke that big 60-yard. There was a combo block that Zion was in the middle of with that 61-yard run. So I thought that was great. But yeah, I think just the interior on the pass rush was a little, was stuff that's what I think I would work on. Defense, exceptional. I mean, I just, outside of a couple missed tackles and the hurdle by Madison, they did exactly what you would have wanted. So stout on the interior. That was a big question mark coming in. And I think I think you might have been the one that brought up Puna low in training camp, that this guy's going to excel. And he was great. He was great. And that's what happens when you create chaos on the edges, like Khalil and Joey were. And I'm excited I'm very excited to see the future of what DJ called the Ferrari package. I mean, when you got Thule, Bud, Joey, and Khalil all on that line, it's like, oh man, here we go.
Choose your poison.
Exactly right. It's going to be fun. So it's a lot of fun to be out there. It was a lot of fun to see those Raiders fans leave with 3 minutes left after they scored the touchdown. It was a lot of fun for people that don't know the backstory. And look, to the victors go the spoils. In the 63-21 game, Jack Jones was running his mouth like nobody's business. He was, and look, he had a pick 6. He played great, but man, was he yapping. And Josh Palmer, he put a pin in it, put it on the wall, and he remembered. And that's why, if you go back and watch the film, on every one of those runs, you're seeing number 5. Did he statistically have a great game as a receiver? Not if you look at the box score, but if you look at the film, he's blocking through the whistle. Jones is getting chippy. If it's Marcus Epps, he's blocking through the whistle. He's getting chippy. And on that 2-point conversion, he picked him up and he lifted him right out of the back of the end zone. And Jones didn't like it. And that's why that fight started. And I guarantee the whole time he's like, 63-21, dude. You want to run your mouth? Now it's my turn. We're up 12. There's 3 minutes left. It's my turn. And good on Josh Palmer for making sure and knowing that dude runs hot. And it was BS, by the way. Earlier in the game, on a 3rd down, Josh was blocking him, and freaking Jack Jones literally punched him like right underneath the helmet. Official standing right there. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't throw a freaking punch. And so it was brewing the whole game. And good on Josh for keeping it going and hopefully getting this rivalry to a point where in week 18, they can do what the Raiders did to them last year in week 16.
I would love it. Yeah.
All right, Lo, it was fun. We'll do a second session a little bit later this week. We'll preview the Carolina game, but man, it was Raider week. They booted those fans out, and it was a nice showing by the Powder Blues out there. I thought it was one of the best showings we've had for a Raider game, if not the best showing for a Raider game. Felt like it was half and half, and it was a lot of fun, a ton of energy in there, and the Chargers get out with a win. They're 1-0 and on to Carolina.
Let's go Chargers. Let's go. Harbaugh, what is that? What is that money?
5-0.
Opening day? He's undefeated opening day with his team.
5-0. That's exactly right. Set the tone. And on to Carolina.